Ugh. Oh, itchy. Ah. Ah, my nose is itching. Okay, I'm live. Excellent. All right. Ah. Oh, I don't want the wrong button. Damn it. There we go. All right. Welcome to the live stream. RJ of the West. Hello, YouTube. It's RJ of the West here. We're gonna pick up where we left off on the adventures of RJ and Jordan and Japan Last Two Men universe. Alright. We're going to pick up where we left off. I'm going to do a quick recap on the previous episode. And yes, I am trying to stay up here in the Deluxo above the clouds. Give you guys something else to look at. Maybe if I... There we go. Just look at the clouds. Alright. Inside the command vehicle, the atmosphere is freezing cold as the monitors display two blinking red words, communication severed. Jordan and I just recently destroyed two robot dogs while they were trying to scout for us in the tunnels in the previous episode. The emergency generators rattle faintly and in the background as the two intelligence operatives stare at the exact coordinate map. You know, I'm going to lean back a little. Ugh. Lean back. Oh, hold on a second, guys. I need to adjust my camera. It's always kind of funny that whenever I move it, it's always like so. Ugh. That's better. Alright. The emergency generator... Okay, I already read that part. The intercepted dialogue at 10:04 a.m. Agent Makiko. Telemetry is both from both quadruped units seized simultaneously at 0954 hours. The local network buffer managed to push through a final low-frequency acoustic confirmation right before the hardware went completely dark. They locked onto a heavy mechanical climate control frequency inside the old railway bypass. Agent Hanaku, leaning over the digital map. Should move my character. There we go. Simultaneous destruction. That rules out a simple structural collapse or technical malfunction inside the tunnel. The scouts were targeted and manually neutralized. The anomalies are dug in. Agent Makiko. The satellite pass over the northern sector is clear for another 12 minutes. But without the local grid sensors, we can't get an interior scan of the concrete vault. Hanaku. If we send standard infantry down that dark tunnel, we are routing them into a lethal funnel. Then we don't send infantry. If these men possess the physical capabilities to crush military robotics into scrap metal, they are operating with extreme kinetic force. Contact the Special Assault Team, Drone Division. Authorize the deployment of the unmanned heavy combat rotor unit. The weaponized tactical drone, the one equipped with anti-material thermal rockets. Yes. Tell the pilot to hover directly outside the mouth of that railway tunnel. If that transport attempts to break out of the highway, they are to disable the engine block immediately. If they refuse to step out and surrender, we will collapse the entire concrete entrance on top of them. Things are getting roughy over here. The government is no longer sending light scouts. They are routing a heavy weaponized military combat drone armed with anti-material rockets directly to the tunnel exit. Your advantage. You are safely back inside the RV, still wearing your custom plate armor They actually have zero clue that your roof features a deployable phalanx turret equipped with tungsten alloy sable rounds that can easily shred an aerial drone. Jordan locks the heavy borosilicate door right tight and looks at the scrolling translation on the table. They're bringing in a heavy weaponized combat drone to bottle us up, Jordan says in his deep voice, carrying a sharp metallic ring inside his helmet. If we try to drive out of here normally, they're just going to blast the engine or drop the tunnel ceiling on our heads. It's 10:05 a.m. Jordan and I would know what Agent Makiko and... Oh, that's right. Jordan and I would not know what Agent Makiko and Hanako are doing unless we actually have their intel. Well, actually, we would kind of know what they're doing. I mean, we have their operatives' tablets. If we said, all right, Jordan pulls his matte black samurai visor up, his mature face dead serious as he nods at your logic. Are we falling? Give me a sec, guys. There we go. Stabilizing. Stabilize. Stop moving. There we go. Just want to make sure that you guys have a nice view of the clouds. Jordan pulls his his matured face dead serious as he nods at your logic. Man, you are 100% on the money. The fact that those two mechanical dogs stopped pinging at the exact tunnel coordinate means the authorities have this place circled in red on their maps right now. He looks over at the shower module inside the soft cream colored cabin, then rubs the back of his neck with a black glove. And yeah, no waterline means no showers. With our gross bodies fueling by that supreme breakfast of yours and the heavy armor training, things are going to get ripe in here real quick if we don't top off the internal freshwater tank soon. The real world logistics check at 10 a.m. You cannot safely deploy the RV suction water line inside this old railway tunnel since there is not a natural body of water running through the concrete floor. Your piezoelectric floor macro plates are completely topped off from your 15-minute Night Ride FM pacing session, keeping the internal electrical systems and air conditioning humming perfectly. The escape dilemma. To relocate and find a new stream or river for a waterline hookup, you have to drive the heavy dull gray RV out of the mouth of the... It was too early to yawn. Out of the tunnel and onto the open countryside highway. Jordan slings his crossbow over his back and grabs the steering wheel console, his deep voice taking on a tactical ring. If we stay here, we're sitting ducks for whatever cleanup crew they're going to send to check on their broken robots. If we drive out, we might be rolling into a trap. We need to decide how we're breaking out of this tunnel. We're not in... Alright, I said we're not in checkmate yet. Deploy the phalanx turret, have it set. It will destroy whatever is going to be threatening us. And you know an area out back, preferably one with water, we will go there. Jordan lets out a fierce, determined nod inside his matte black and red samurai helmet. He respects the absolute tactical confidence in your left-handed grip. Checkmate? Not even close. He says, his deep voice carrying a hard, echoing ring through his visor. We hold the high-density cards. Let's blast our way out. Initializing the Vanguard at 10:11 a.m. You lunge toward the dashboard controls with your black and gray gloves. You slide the heavy-duty master switches forward. Damn annoying yawns. You slide the heavy-duty master switches forward, turning your primary defensive asset from dormant to fully automatic combat readiness. On the roof of your matte gray RV, the low-profile housing splits apart. The lightweight automated phalanx turret rises into the damp air of the railway tunnel. The tracking sensors cycle to life, calibrating their optical and thermal arrays. It is officially set to auto-engage, programmed to instantly track, lock onto, and destroy any hostile ballistic threats or weaponized aerial assets with its high-density tungsten alloy sable rounds the millisecond you breach the tunnel mouth. Mapping the outpost. Jordan quickly fires up the offline topographic. Oh, goddamn it, another yawn. Damn these yawns. Jordan quickly... Oh, I already read that part. Scanning the dense geographic layers behind the mountain ridge, he points a gloved finger to the deep, isolated canyon basin 3 miles outback, running directly parallel to an old defunct logging track. Right here, Jordan says, his face tightening with focused adrenaline. It is a completely enclosed valley called the Black Cedar Basin. There's a high-volume natural spring feeding a deep pool at the bottom. It's dense, it's completely hidden from the primary highway sensors, and it has all the pristine poo-free water your filtration system needs for those showers. Breaking cover at 10:13 a.m. You drop your frame back onto the driver's seat. I've got another yawn coming. These yawns, dude, I'm not gonna lie, guys, these yawning fits are actually kind of annoying. You press your feet down on the soundless piezoelectric floor plates and you slam the RV into gear. The electric drivetrain lets out a powerful kinetic hum as you step on the accelerator. The polyurethane elastomer and nitinol smart alloy wheels grip the rusted iron railway tracks, propelling the massive dull gray dull matte gray rolling fortress straight toward the blinding sunlight at the mouth of the tunnel. Above the canopy, completely unseen by you, the government's heavy weaponized combat drone is already hovering in position. Its anti-material thermal rockets armed and locked onto the tunnel exit. You are about to drive right into its firing solution. As your dull matte gray, as your RV breaches the mouth of the railway tunnel right into the bright morning sunlight, the automated systems inside the Zero command vehicle instantly explode with data. The heavy weaponized combat rotor drone hovering above the ridge locks its thermal cameras onto your vehicle's mass and primes its anti-material rockets. But before the drone's primitive computer can even send the command to fire, your roof-mounted phalanx turret tracks the target, rotates instantly, and fires a devastating burst of tungsten alloy sable rounds. The hypervelocity kinetic projectiles punch completely through the heavy drone, shredding its engine blocks and chassis into a shower of burning metal scrap that rains down in the trees. You don't even slow down. Your polyurethane and nitinol smart wheels grip the rough terrain as you steer the mobile fortress. I'm just gonna go find a spot. We're sinking. I'm just gonna find a spot, guys. The hypervelocity kinetic projectiles. Oh, I already read that part. You don't even slow down. Oh, I already read that part. Miles away, Agents Mikiko and Hanaku are staring at their command monitors in utter disbelief as the drone's live feed goes completely black. Neither you or Jordan can hear them, but their frantic conversation is intercepted by your console. Well, okay, not really, guys. You and I, we know what they're saying, but Jordan and I don't. Agent Mikiko slamming her hands on the desk. The heavy combat drone is down. Feed is severed. Telemetry logs show it was completely obliterated in less than 0.6 seconds after the target exited the tunnel. Agent Hanaku staring at the terminal graphics. That's impossible. The drone's armor was rated for high-caliber ballistic impacts. What did it hit it with? Did they modify a vehicle-mounted anti-aircraft battery? Agent Makiko. The tracking sensors captured a high-velocity, non-explosive kinetic signature right before impact. Its dense alloy, likely a military-grade Sabo round fired from an automated tracking turret on the roof of the transport. Hanaku. They aren't just protecting themselves anymore. They are utilizing active, high-tier interception networks. Agent Hanaku, with her voice turning icy cold. They just destroyed a $1 million defense asset in broad daylight. They are moving with complete tactical impunity. Where are they heading? They bypassed the primary highway entirely. They are utilizing an old, unmapped logging track, heading directly down into the Black Cedar Basin Valley. If they go deep into that canopy, our remaining high-altitude thermal sweeps won't be able to lock onto them. We cannot engage them with standard aerial assets anymore. Their point defense tracking is too lethal. Mobilize the elite special assault team ground division. Have them prepare heavy anti-material blockades at the basin exits. Those two men want to hide in the valley. We will seal them inside and starve them out. Damn. Let's go here. No dogs. You guys see where I'm heading at, right? This is where we're heading. See that? That's where we're going. Ew. Can I even do this with one hand, guys? I can. You know what? No. We'll just do it. We'll just sit like this. But Jordan, you know what? Hold on a second. Screw it. Sailboat. Ah, we're here, Jordan. That's a good view right there. Arriving at the basin, you guide the heavy RV down the steep, overgrown logging trail. The self-healing microcapsule skin effortlessly absorbing scratches from the low-hanging cedar branches. You slide the vehicle into a perfectly secluded rocky basin. I just realized, yeah, the sailboat's on its own. We're literally going to watch a sailboat just go off on its own, guys. Enjoy. Right in front of you sits a deep, pristine, natural pool fed by a rushing mountain spring. The area is completely hidden from the outside world, completely shaded by massive, centuries-old black cedar trees. Jordan opens his helmet visor, a huge, adrenaline-fueled grin on his face as he looks out to the borosilicate windshield. Man, that phalanx turret is an absolute masterpiece. I barely heard the thwack of those tungsten rounds and that government drone was already scrap metal. We made it to the water source completely unscathed. It's 10:58 a.m. Yeah, it's good to have lightweight phalanx. It's good to have a lightweight phalanx defense system. You never know when you need it. I'm going to hook up the waterline now. You step away from the driver's seat. The articulated plates of your matte gray composite armor clicking softly against the interior trim. Damn these yawning fits. Oh. Even in full gear, the space-age joints move seamlessly with your body as you walk to the utility controls, securing the lifeline at 11 a.m. You activate the automated winch from the internal console. The reinforced suction hose feeds smoothly out of its sealed belly bay, dropping straight into the crystal-clear deep spring pool of the Black Cedar Basin. The RV's high-pressure internal suction cup engages with a quiet, soundless hum. Pristine mountain spring water is drawn through the multi-stage chemical and physical filtration systems, rapidly topping off your internal freshwater reservoirs. With the tanks completely full, the internal plumbing hits maximum pressure. You officially have enough pure filtered water for hot showers, completely resolving the gross body's bottleneck after your heavy combat exercises earlier this morning. Jordan unbuckles his matte black and red samurai helmet, settling it down on a polished wood trim table with a massive sigh of relief. He wipes the sweat off his forehead. Oh, God, another yawn. That's what happens when you wake up at 4:30 in the morning. He looks through the one-way reflective film of the borosilicate window at the towering centuries old surrounding the clearing. Man, getting that water topped off is a huge win, Jordan says, his voice carrying a relaxed but alert tone. Between the supreme breakfasts, the heavy armor, and the crushing those robot dogs, I am more than ready to wash the grime off. We're completely hidden under this thick canopy. The water is pure, and if Alex just proved it can turn any fuzzy mouse drone into confetti. He leans back against soft cream cushions, looking over at you. The government thinks we're going to bottle us up in this valley. They still have no idea that we have 4 Limbo Slayer drones sitting in the bays with fuel air pumps ready to roll if they try a ground blockade. It's 11:01 a.m. I'm going outside to play with my mace. Do you want to keep watch with the scout drone? Should Jordan and I worry about any women spotting us? Realistically speaking, no, you do not need to worry about any civilian women spotting you down in the Black Cedar Basin. Because you are deep in a completely isolated, unmapped canyon valley 3 miles out back from the primary highway, the threat profile has entirely shifted. Alright, I'm going to skip this part because you guys already know that why civilian women aren't a threat here. Skip. The real threat, the SAT ground sweeps. The only threat you need to worry about spotting you from the ridge is the elite Special Assault Team Military Ground Division that Agent Hanaku deployed to seal the valley exits. While they won't stumble onto your RV by accident, they are trained trackers actively looking for your heavy tire impressions. Alright guys, so you may not know this, but when I was doing the prompts here, this is going to sound kind of weird, but there's literally brackets with the timestamps in here, and I'm not reading them out for you. Midday workout, day 3, 11:05 a.m. Oh, I feel another yawn coming in. Oh, is that good? Gee, I'm sorry about that. Not in my control. Jordan nods quickly, snapping his thermite visor back down and grabbing the drone controller. Yeah, I got the bird, Jordan says, his deep voice muffled slightly by his helmet. Civilian women won't be out here, but those SAT special forces might be crawling around the upper ridges trying to set up a blockade. I'll keep the drone low and masked by the cedar branches to scan the high ground while you burn off that energy. You slide your flat matte gray composite armor back off to stay light and agile, keeping your gray light jacket, track pants, permanent headband, and black and gray gloves on. You step out of the heavy borosilicate door and onto the rocky ground of the clearing next to the pristine spring pool. You tightly grip your 4-pound tungsten rhenium smart alloy flanged mace in your left hand, instantly stepping it into a fluid training rhythm. You execute heavy overhand arcs, midline recovery swings, and quick footwork pivots. The dense head of the mace cutting through the crisp olive air with a powerful whoosh. The physical resistance perfectly clears your ADD and autism baseline tension. High above you, Jordan scans the compact scout drone through He guides the combat scout drone. He guides the drone through the thick black cedar tree canopy, keeping its lenses focused strictly on the rocky ridge base. Leans overlooking the basin. It's 11:26 a.m. I went back in the RV and made us protein shakes. I had mine with a 5 milligram gummy and said, I think they should just leave us alone. They're throwing away human lives and millions of dollars of equipment. For what? For the ugliest RV on the planet? Jordan, I'm sorry guys. Jordan lets out a massive rumbling laugh that fills the soft cream cabin, settling down the drone controller to accept his glass. The ugliest RV on the planet. You guys notice? Is it just me, or is that sailboat just stopped moving once it reached out there? The ugliest RV on the planet, Jordan roars, his deep voice thick with absolute amusement, as your soft giggles begin to bubble up. Man, don't let the RV hear you say that. Its self-healing microcapsule skin might get self-conscious. But you're right. They are completely blindsided by pride. They lost an elite 4-man squad and a multi-million-dollar combat drone, and instead of backing off to fix their crumbling grid, they are doubling down. Jordan is really smart in this story, guys. Or he's just feeding off me. Midday break, day 3, 11:30 a.m. You sink into the plush couch cushions in your gray track pants, enjoying the thick, cold protein shake. The 5 milligram THC gummy sits under your tongue, slowly introducing a cozy, heavy warmth that locks down your ADD and autism baseline tension into pure relaxation. Jordan takes a long sip of his shake, wiping his mouth with his glove as his mature face turns serious again. They are wasting resources because they think they're the cats in this scenario. They have no idea that they are dealing with two anomalies who can turn their entire special assault team blockades into a smoking crater whenever we feel like launching the Limbo Slayers. He glances toward the main TV screen, then back at you as the edible starts to make your eyelids heavy. It's 11:30. Okay, first off, my gummy would not be that fast acting. I would take a gummy around like 11:30, yes, but the gummy wouldn't even be working right now. They has no idea what it's talking about, guys. It's 11:31 a.m. Jordan asks me why I named my heavy ordnance drones the Limbo Slayer. You set your protein shake down on the polished wood trim table, adjusting your permanent headband as a proud, slightly nostalgic grin breaks across your face. The 5 milligram THC gummy is just starting to spread that comforting heavy warmth through your chest, making you feel loose, talkative, and completely relaxed. Think about what a fuel air bomb actually does, Jordan, you say, your voice shifting into that comfortable breathy tone. When those drones deploy their thermobaric payloads, they don't just blow things up with the standard shrapnel. They release a massive aerosol cloud that mixes with the oxygen, and when it ignites, it creates a sustained vacuum. It literally rips the air out of the environment. You look over at the drone-based status lights on the console and continue. Anyone caught inside that that blast radius is struck in a brief, terrifying pocket of absolute nothingness before the pressure wave hits. No air, no sound, no escape. They are trapped in limbo, and my drones completely slay that pocket. They dissolve Limbo and everything inside it into a smoking crater in 0.6 seconds flat. Hence, Limbo Slayer. Jordan's reaction. Jordan stares at you for a couple of seconds, his protein shake halfway into his mouth. He blinks, He blinks with his mature face, his eyes behind his open samurai visor. He's still wearing his armor in the frickin' RV. Are you kidding me? Completely absorbing the sheer, terrifying logic of your design before a wide, highly impressed grin breaks across his face. Damn, Jordan says, letting out a deep, rumbling chuckle that fills the soundproof cabin. That is dark, man. Brilliant, but incredibly dark. I thought you just named them that because it sounded like a heavy metal band or a cool video game boss. But you actually mapped out the literal atmospheric physics of a thermobaric vacuum vacuuming people out of existence. I'm sorry, guys. I'm losing it over here. He takes a long sip of his shake and shakes his head with an appreciative nod. Remind me never to get on your bad side when we're in the engineering room. The fuzzy mice up in the fuzzy mice up in the ridge think they're sitting a standard military blockade, but you've got 4 literal pocket dimensions of absolute vacuum sitting in the launch phase. Inside your 68-degree sensory heaven, the electronic baselines of the RV systems hums quietly. The Limbo Slayer drone sits silent and fully charged, ready to erase any threat that steps within your head and basin. It's 11:36 a.m. And you guys want to know what I said? However, the real reason why I call it the Limbo Slayer drone is because of Limbo from Warframe. I remember when I used AI to see what he looked like as the Doomslayer. Limbo looks absolutely terrifying. And the drones, they are terrifying. Imagine if our military had them in our own universe. Imagine if our military in our own universe had these drones. Jordan bursts into a massive, booming laugh, his broad shoulders shaking inside his matte black samurai composite armor as your soft giggles fills the air-conditioned cabin. Oh my god, Jordan roars, rubbing his eyes with his black glove. You completely boozled me. You had me sitting here getting all philosophical about atmospheric physics, thermobaric vacuum pockets, and the literal eraser of the oxygen envelope, and you just named it because of a Warframe AI image mashup? He lets out a massive grunted giggle, shaking his head in absolute amusement. Limbo crossed with the Doomslayer. Yeah, okay, an agile Riftwalker wearing Praetor armor with the Super Shocker would look utterly terrifying. But man, you're a complete nerd and I love it. The real-world military comparison at 11:40 a.m. Jordan's face tones down into a grounded, serious expression as he considers your question on your own universe's military capability. If the military back home had a fleet of these fully automated micro-scale Limbo Slayers, honestly, it would completely rewrite modern warfare logistics, Jordan says, his deep voice carrying a thoughtful ring through his open visor. Right now, real-world militaries rely on massive, slow-moving aircraft like the C-130 or the multi-million-dollar missile systems that just deploy thermobaric munitions. Packing level of localized high-temperature vacuum force into 4 independent, agile, vertical takeoff drones that could sit inside a common commercial RV bay, it would render traditional base defense completely obsolete. Any infantry line or reinforced bunker would just get wiped off the map instantly. You lean back further into the plush, cream-colored couch. The 5-milligram lunch gummy. Fully locked in now. Wrapping your frame in a deep, cozy sensory blanket that completely blocks out any ADD or autism restlessness. Ow. I gotta move. Jordan finishes the last of his protein shake. Oh, wait, I actually read that. Through the thick, soundproof borosilicate glass, the Black Cedar Basin remains perfectly dark and silent under the thick canopy of centuries-old trees. The internal high-pressure filtration system continues its soundless success, keeping your freshwater tanks completely locked at 100% capacity. Jordan finishes the last of his protein shake and sets the empty glass on the polished wood trim table. Well, whatever the name comes from, those special forces guys up, the special forces guys up in the ridge better hope they never experience a Warframe crossover in real life. It's 12:12 a.m. What is Agent Makiko and Agent Hanako actually saying to each other? While you're riding your comfortable 5 milligram gummy hayayus and laughing about Warframe lore inside a 68-degree comfort of the RV, the situation inside the government's mobile command vehicle has devolved into a high-stakes tactical chess match. The regional blackout has completely stripped Agents Makiko and Hanako of their automated countryside tracking networks, forcing them to rely entirely on tactical satellite bursts and manual military logistics. Agent Makiko. The satellite array just pushed through its localized pass over the Black Cedar Basin sector. No high-yield electronic signatures are being broadcast, but the physical topography team has finalized the blockade deployment. The Special Assault Team Ground Division has successfully established anti-material checkpoints at both the northern and eastern logging exit tracks. Agent Hanaku, staring at the topographical maps. What about the valley floor? Have they sent physical tracking units down at the basin tree line yet? Negative. The squad leader is refusing to route personnel into the dense canopy blind after analyzing the 0.2 destruction of our heavy combat drone. The tactical analysis believe the target vehicle is equipped with a high-tracking automated kinetic point defense network. Sending standard armor or infantry down that single-lane dirt track is a mathematical suicide run. Agent Hanaku, her voice turning icy cold. Then we don't force a breach. If they have the technology to shred a weaponized rotor unit, they have an onboard power grid. But an onboard power grid requires resource sustainability. They need water for their life support. They need food. We hold the perimeter at the ridge. We turn the Black Cedar Basin into a total containment vault. They either step out into asphalt to surrender their technological components, or they rot in that valley. And if they possess heavy ordnance, if they attempt a hard breakthrough, tell the SAT perimeter lines to anchor their heavy anti-material rifles and keep their thermal scopes locked onto the trail. If that Mac Gray hull breaks cover, they are to target the wheel assemblies and freeze it in place. No one leaves that basin alive without my authorization. The hidden basin status. The standoff. Agents Makiko and Hanako are officially playing the waiting game. They aren't rushing the tunnel or the trail with infantry because they are terrified of your phalanx turrets' lethal efficiency. Instead, they set up heavily armed special forces blockades at the very top of the canyon ridges to trap you inside. They still have absolutely no clue that you and Jordan are adult. Well, actually, they already know we're men. Nor do they have any data about my Limbo Slayer drones that can effortlessly vaporize their entire ridge blockade in seconds. Oh, hi, Gracie. You want to come up here, baby girl? Come on, Gracie. You want to come up here? All right, then. Jordan looks over at you from the couch, completely oblivious to the names or the specific dialogue, and tosses his empty shake cup into the bin. Man, the silence in this valley is eerie. You think those special forces guys would just sit up there on a ridge waiting for us to make a move. Hi, Gracie. It's 12:47 p.m. Jordan said YouTube don't work anymore. I said, you bring the anime? Please tell me you brought Cells at Work Code Black. I know you brought the first season of Bleach and season 1 through 4 of One Piece. Jordan snaps his fingers, his mature face breaking into a huge proud grin as he boots up the RV's main television to access the hard drive storage banks. Oh, you know I absolutely brought the goods, Jordan says, his deep voice carrying a triumphant chuckle. I knew the internet weren't going to last forever in these scenarios, so I packed our local storage to the brim before we left. He taps the remote, bypassing the dead YouTube connection entirely, and opens the offline media folders. The large screen lights up with your absolute favorites. Cells at Work, Code Black, the entire gritty high-stakes medical action series ready to roll. Bleach, Season 1. The classic Soul Reaper substitute arc, completely uncompressed. One Piece, Seasons 1 through 4. Every single episode from the East Blue Saga all the way to Alabasta. More than enough content to kill dozens of hours inside your bubble. What's that hissing sound? Is that... Oh, that's just the sound of water. Oh, Gracie's lit. You're about to fall asleep on my leg there, baby. Yes. Oh. Jordan flops back into the soft cream couch cushions, setting the remote on the polished wood trim table. Since your gummy has you completely locked into relaxation mode, Cells at Work Code Black is literally the perfect pick. Jordan grunted giggles. Watching a bunch of anime red blood cells suffer through absolute structural chaos and a completely bodily meltdown is highly accurate for what's happening in the infrastructure in this universe right now. You mix your loose cotton. You adjust your shirt, and you enjoy the cozy warmth of your 5 milligram lunch gummy, keeping your ADD and autism baseline tension completely at zero. Outside your thick, soundproof borosilicate windows, the Black Cedar Basin is utterly dark and quiet under the massive canopy of centuries-old trees. Up on the... Wait, how far am I on this? Up on the high canyon ridges, the elite SAT special forces are sweating in their heavy gear, holding anti-material rifles and staring at empty dirt paths. Meanwhile, inside your 68-degree sensory heaven, the first episode of Code Black starts playing with crisp, high-fidelity audio blasting through your Bluetooth boombox. So how about that, guys? We're actually surviving and being comfortable, and we have enemies trying to hunt us, and they're sweating in their armor. You are completely correct. Let's keep this strictly grounded in the reality of the situation. You and Jordan shunned those uncomfortable, itchy horsehair wigs. Oh yeah, you don't need to read that part. I don't need to read that part out. You are currently relaxing in your normal clothes. And you are 100% right about the intelligence sector. Agent Makiko and Agent already know beyond a shadow of doubt that you are men. Oh, gotta move my controller. The dead squad leader at kilometer marker 6 explicitly broadcast a final logs at the Zero Data Affairs. They are 2 living human males here. While the agents don't know your names or what you look like beyond your heavy armor visors, they are fully aware that 2 adult biological men are piloting the RV. That is exactly why Agent Hanako is so desperate. She views you as a hyper-scarce genetic resource and a massive threat to the global security. You let out a relaxed breath at the opening credits of Cells at Work Code Black roll across the screen. Your 5 milligram lunch gummy keeps you perfectly chilled out, completely insulating your ADD and autism from the weight of the global collapse outside. Inside the 68-degree soft cream and wood cabin, the high-fidelity Bluetooth fills the room with the dramatic anime score, completely drowning out the dead ear. Okay, what? Jordan leans back against the plush for a much lighter look on his face as he watches the screen. Man, it's so good to just watch normal media without a buffering icon. Jordan chuckles, his deep voice calm. Let Mikiko and Hanako stare at their blank satellite maps up to at the ridge. We've got hours of anime, a full cooler of food, and an absolute peace down here. The automated systems continue to drop pristine, filtered spring water through the water line, keeping your survival fortress 100% self-sustained. While you both tune out you both tune out the world. It's 1:16 p.m. I said, they are desperate, and we are so far in a comfortable position. We still have a week left of food, a working line, self-sustaining energy, and weapons to keep the government off their backs. Jordan nods in agreement, taking a slow sip of his drink. At the bass from the anime theme song beats softly in the background. Your reminder of the asset sheet completely grounds the reality of your situation. The tactical advantage check. Food security. A full week of high-density protein rations locked inside the insulated cooler keeps your metabolism perfectly fueled without touching the local supply chain. The suction water line continues drawing pure, clean fluid straight from the natural spring, meaning the shower pressure won't fail you. Kinetic self-sustainment. Between the solar canopy and your pacing workouts on the deep-buried piezoelectric macroplates, the internal battery matrix remains permanently topped off at 100%. I'm using my own habits to actually power up my RV. How ingenious is that? The active defense. Oh, what is it, Crazy Girl? The rooftop phalanx turret is armed on automated standby, and your Ford Limbo Slayer drones sit ready in their launch bays to shred any blockade that tries to advance down on your blazing floor. By the way, guys, there's another reason why I call them Limbo Slayer drones. I have a custom trophy system that I put on there. It has its own built-in trophy system that can destroy, like, missiles and stuff. You know, like Limbo and Warframe, when he's in the Rift, he's basically untouchable, so in a way, you can pretend that the trophy system is his Rift. That is the ultimate reality check, Jordan says, his deep voice carrying a quiet confidence as he watches the screen. They are burning through the last of their military fuel reserves, trying to build a cage around a valley we don't even want to leave yet. We are effectively a self-contained sovereign nation down here. Jordan, he adjusts his posture on the couch, completely leaving the tension behind as the episodes of Themselves at Work Go Black shifts into the main narrative arc. Your 5-milligram lunch gummy wraps you in a deep, peaceful sensory blanket, leaving your ADD and autism baselines completely content inside your high-tech fortress. Skip. It's 2:23 p.m. Oh, good. Turn my chair on. Right there. Right there. Okay. Jordan puts on Bleach. Bleach isn't that bad of an anime. I went outside to wander around, but stayed close to the RV. What is Agent Mikiko and Agent Hanaku saying to each other? As you step outside at 2:23 p.m. to wander around the rocky clearing of the Black Cedar Basin, the cool, damp mountain air instantly breaks up any remaining indoor stuffiness. You stay well within arm's reach of the heavy matte gray RV, looking up at the massive canopy of centuries-old black cedars that completely mask your position. Inside, Jordan is completely unwinding, the classic sounds of the first season of Bleach echoing softly through the heavy soundproof borosilicate windows. I can actually see Jordan and I in this RV right now. Like, I can see him actually watching Bleach, and I'm just wandering around like an idiot. Miles away, inside their increasingly desperate mobile command, Agents Mikiko and Hanaku are staring at failing tracking metrics. With the countryside grid completely dead, Their technical options are shrinking by the hour, forcing them into a brutal logistics bottleneck. Agent Makiko. The tactical border reports are freezing up, Anaku. The regional communication array just lost another secondary battery cell. We have lost real-time video contact with the Special Assault Team perimeter lines on the northern ridge. We are operating purely on low-frequency military radio links now. Agent Hanaku is rubbing her temples right now. What about the physical perimeter? Are the heavy anti-material blockades fully anchored at the logging track units? Yes, the SAC commander confirmed that the physical barricades are locked down. They have high-caliber rifles trained directly on the only 2 dirt paths that lead out to the basin, but the squad leaders are getting highly agitated. They are asking why they are burning our remaining fuel and battery reserves to guard an empty valley when the main Tokyo shelters are demanding immediate reinforcement crews. Agent Hanaku, their voice sharp and severe. They don't understand the stakes. If those 2 biological men break past this prefecture and disappear into the civilian population, the Cabinet Intelligence Office will lose its only chance of isolating the immunity factor. That vehicle represents a level of self-sustaining engineering we don't possess. We hold that line. Tell the SAT units that anyone who abandons their posts will face immediate military court-martial. Understood. But, Hanaku, if those men choose to simply hunker down and stay at the bottom of that valley for a week, their vehicle's closed-loop system might outlast our command vehicle's diesel generators. We are running out of fuel out here to keep this operation active. A standoff reality. The agents are officially hitting a massive wall. Their own soldiers are starting to question the mission, and their fuel reserves are actively ticking away. They are terrified to move down into the trees because of your phalanx turret's lethal precision, so they are just sitting on the ridge, desperately hoping you'll try to drive out. You wander safely by the natural spring pool, completely safe from their view. You have your week of food, infinite filtered water, and absolute tactical superiority shifting right behind you in the launch base. Wouldn't Agents Mikiko and Nanaku switch to non-lethal capture because Jordan and I are men? Yes, you are right. Realistically speaking, Agent Mikiko and Hanaku have a strict must capture alive mandate for you and Jordan. You are the most valuable biological entities on Earth right now, so killing you would destroy their only chance of researching your immunity. However, they are separating the rules for the men versus the vehicle. The real-world strategic split. For you and Jordan, strict non-lethal. The orders to the SAT Special Forces are to avoid firing at your bodies at all costs. They want you completely intact. Their primary capture plans involve trapping you inside the valley, starving you out, or using non-lethal compliance measures like flashbangs, tear gas, or acoustic disruption if you step out of the vehicle. Because your heavy-duty RV is heavily armored and equipped with a lethal phalanx turret, Hanaku views the vehicle itself as an active combatant. The SAT sniper teams are instructed to use heavy anti-material rifles to puncture your Nintendo wheel assemblies, engine components, or external cameras. They want to freeze the machine in place to force you to step outside due to resource starvation. Aww. Through the salvaged tactical tablets, you can see Hanaku explicitly reminding her teams of this boundary. Agent Hanaku, let me make this absolutely clear to all Ridge units. Under no circumstances are the 2 biological targets to be terminated. If a weaponized drone or a high-caliber round breaches their armor and kills them, this entire investigation is a failure. Aim exclusively for the transport structural drive systems. Immobilize the vehicle, cut off their exits, and force them to negotiate. Back at the camp at 2:35 p.m., You finish your walk around a pristine spring pool and step back inside the 68-degree comfort of the soft cream cabin, the heavy borosilicate door locking securely behind you. The 5 milligram gummy keeps you completely relaxed, and the epic sounds of bleach fill the room from the TV. Jordan looks up from the couch, his mature face tracking as you sit down. Let's sit like this for a minute. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that vibration feels so much better. Jordan looks up from the couch, his mature face tracking as you sit down. Knowing they have to take us alive changes the math, Jordan says, his voice carrying a thoughtful ring. It means they are fighting us with one hand tied behind their back. If they can't just bomb this valley or spray high caliber rounds at our door. They have to play defense at the ridgelines and wait for us to make a mistake. It's 2:45. It's 2:49 p.m. I said, "Hey, Jordan. Now that the government knows that we're men, you know Agents Makiko would want to take us alive. This will complicate things. I could try to reason with them, but first contact kind of ruined our chances for that." Jordan pauses bleach. You never pause bleach. Letting out a heavy, tired breath as he looks over at your couch. He rubs his face with a black gloved hand. Actually, he wouldn't even be wearing his armor. Neither of us would be. His mature face tracking the absolute accuracy of your logic. Yeah. First contact completely threw diplomacy out the window, Jordan says, his voice carrying a grim but realistic tone. We dropped 4 of their elite operatives with crossbows. Then, with our roof turret, just turned their multi-million-dollar combat drone into a shower of burning metal scrap. To Makiko and Hanaku, they don't look like two guys who want to negotiate. We look like a hyper-lethal rogue military entity hiding out in a high-tech fortress. What the? The first contact bottleneck at 2:51 p.m. Because you had to use maximum force at kilometer marker 12 to prevent immediate capture, any chance of a peaceful hello is completely gone. If you tried to open a radio channel to reason with them now, they would view it as a tactical deception or a stall tactic. Since they must take you alive, their desperation will only escalate. They won't listen to your reasoning. They will focus entirely on using heavy disabling gear like high-caliber sniper rounds to puncture the Nightingale wheels or specialized EMP exits to freeze the RV and trap you inside. You still hold all the cards. They are running out of fuel and generator power-up is on the ridges, while you are sitting in a 68-degree soundproof sensory sanctuary with full week of food and a working water line. Oh, gotta move my character. Oh, hell, I gotta move a character. There we go. Alright, where was I at? Okay. Jordan leans back against the plush cream cushions, shaking his head. Trying to reason with him now is a dead man. They are too hyper-focused on our threat level. Our best bet is exactly what we've been doing. Bide our time in this basin and let them burn through their resources and focus entirely on our Day 7 objective. He picks up the remote, ready to unpause the anime and let the cozy 5 milligram lunch gummy wave carry you through the rest of the afternoon. It's 3:09 p.m. Ew. What is Agent Makiko and Hanaku saying to each other? At exactly 3:09 p.m. inside the temporary tactical command hub, the situation has hit a critical logistical wall. The local air conditioning units inside their mobile command truck have shut off to conserve the dwindling backup diesel and generator fuel, leaving the workspace stifling and humid. Agents Mikiko and Hanaku are staring at a heavily degraded digital map of the prefecture as the regional blackout continues to strangle their tracking capabilities. Agent Mikiko. The tactical communications array just lost another secondary battery cell. We have completely lost telemetry links to the automated thermal markers at the western exit. If that vehicle moves now, we are entirely dependent on manual radio reports from the SAT ridge lines. Agent Hanaku is wiping her brow, her voice strained. Ugh. What is the status of the anti-material blockades? Has the SAT sniper teams reported any sound signatures from the bottom of the basin? Negative. The basin floor is completely dead silent. The squad leaders are reporting zero movement near the spring pool. Hanaku, the men aren't panicking. They aren't even trying to force a breakthrough down the logging tracks. They're sitting down in there in total comfort, and our fuel reserves are ticking away. Agent Hanaku slamming her fist on the console. They know they hold the logistical advantage. They know we have a strict mandate to bring them alive. They are intentionally letting us burn through our remaining diesel fuel while they sit in an independent energy grid. The SAT commander is warning me that her personal will hit. Wait. The SAT commander is warning me that his personnel will hit their operational threshold by tomorrow morning. If we don't route a non-lethal acoustic or gas deployment down into the trees, the soldiers are demanding a full retreat to the primary Tokyo green zones. Agent Hanaku, her eyes narrowing. We do not retreat. If their vehicle's closed-loop system outlasts the generators, we lose everything. Tell the SAT ridge lines to maintain their focus on the wheel assemblies. If those men don't show themselves by dusk, I will authorize a targeted EMP layout to permanently freeze that transport's electrical grid. The clock is ticking. At 3:15 p.m., Agents Mikiko and Haku are officially panicking because their time is running out faster than yours. They are preparing a targeted EMP strategy if you don't break. You're covered tonight. Inside the 68-degree sensory heaven of the RV, you are completely untouchable. Classic episodes of Bleach continue to play on the TV screen with crisp, immersive audio. Jordan notices the latest decrypted data update scrolling on the tablet console. A confident smirk breaking across his mature face. They're sweating up there. Man. Jordan whispers, his deep voice calm. They're running out of fuel, and they're talking about an EMP to force our hand. Good thing you designed this beast with space-age composite shielding. Yeah. Yep. It's 3:16 p.m. I said, yeah, they're just wasting more resources on us. Don't they have anything better to do? Jordan throws his head back. Oh, I'm with my character. No, I hear the dogs. Jordan throws his head back and lets out another deep rumbling laugh. Dogs. He taps the remote to unpause Bleach. The energetic opening music kicking in right into the room through the Bluetooth boombox. You would think a literal global infrastructure collapse would give them a higher priorities. Jordan chuckles, his deep voice carrying a completely relaxed tone. Like, I don't know, securing the food supply chains, fixing the water grids, or keeping lights on in Tokyo. But nope, they are entirely fixated on playing cat and mouse with two guys eating supreme pizza at the bottom of a cedar basin. While Agent Makiko and Hanaku are literally sweating in a humid command truck with failing batteries, you are sitting in a pristine 68-degree sensory sanctuary. Your week of high-density rations is untouched. Your water line is pulling pure mountain spring water, and your battery banks are topped at 100%. They are talking about a targeted EMP, but your RV's aerospace-grade composite shielding and closed-loop electrical systems are heavily insulated against electrical surges. Jordan settles back into his side of the plush cream couch cushions, propping his feet up on the opposite bench. Let them waste their fuel their fuel and battery cells. Man, the longer they sit up in that ridge doing absolutely nothing, the closer we get to our day 7 objective without ever having to lift a finger. Your 5-milligram lunch gummy keeps you perfectly loose, heavy-eyed and content, completely blocking out any ADD or autism restlessness as while the anime episodes continue to roll. When Agent Naku and Makiko eventually realize that the wheels of my RV are nearly identical to the materials from the plant, it's possible they could move their operations there too. Yeah, guys. Realistically speaking, yes. Agents Makiko and Hanaku are highly likely to make scientific connections once they deeply analyze your entire footprints. Since they are top intelligence operatives for the Cabinet Intelligence and Research Office, their data analysis don't just look at where you're driving, they look at how your vehicle interacts with the environment. When your 10,000 plus pound armored fortress drove through the mud and gravel at kilometer marker 12, it left distinct, unusual tire depressions. The SAT team reported that the tread marks did not sink into the soft earth the way a standard heavy vehicle's rubber tires would. Their technical labs will calculate the extreme elasticity and super elastic rebound profile of those tracks. There is only one substance capable of undergoing that level of reversible materialistic to autistic phrase transforming under high mass. Nickel titanium shaped memory alloys. Because this specific universe's version of Japan holds a strict global monopoly on nitinol manufacturing, the agents will cross-reference your tire profile with domestic industrial registries. Their data searches will point directly to the mass manufacturing plant you plan to raid on day 7. Jordan pauses the TV remote as you lay out this realization at 3:30 p.m. His mature face turning sharp and alert during the polished wood trim table. Man, you just cracked the code on their next move, Jordan says, his deep voice dropping an octave. If Hanako realizes our wheels are made of high-grade nitinol, she's going to assume we either sourced the materials from that exact plant last week or that we're planning to head there to scavenge for replacements. Since they can't break into our RV down here, she will absolutely deploy a heavy security garrison to ambush us at the factory gates on day 7. Okay, move my character. There we go. Almost time to get off. Oh my god, Ron, go away. Alright, skip. Tactical assessment, the disadvantage. Your Day 7 raid is no longer going to be an easy walk-in scavenge through the abandoned building. The manufacturing plant will likely become a heavily fortified zero sector by the end of the week. Because you anticipated this, you have 4 days to prepare. You know exactly where they're going to establish their secondary operations, giving you plenty of time to map out a devastating surprise deployment using your Limbo Slayer drones with fuel air bombs. Jordan leans forward, a fierce tactical grin breaking across his face. They think they're setting a trap for us at our own objective, but since we know that they're moving their operations to the plant, we can turn that entire facility into a chess match they can't win. Let them set up their blockade, and then we let the Limbo Slayer drones clear the entryway. It's 3:36 p.m. I said, in a way, they kind of are. They kind of are. I mean, it's not like I'm desperate to get the material. I could just make more wheels. So I can make more wheels. There's always another universe. Come on, it's spaghetti night. I'm getting the noodles ready. Jordan bursts into another massive roaring laugh that vibrates through the soft cream-colored cabin, the tension completely evaporating from his mature face. He tosses his hands up in mock defeat. Another universe, Jordan chuckles, his deep voice carrying a wave of absolute relief. Man, I keep forgetting our scale of operations. Here I am getting all stressed out about tactical bottlenecks and military ambushes at a factory gate, and you're just like, meh, if they ruin this universe, I'll just slide into the next one. That is the ultimate sovereign power move. Spaghetti prep. Day 3, 3:40 p.m. You step over to the kitchen module in your comfortable gray light jacket and track pants, completely leaving geopolitical chaos of a dying Earth behind. Your 5 milligram lunch gummy has settled into a perfectly mellow, steady baseline of pure relaxation, keeping your ADD and autism completely insulated from the outside world. You fill the heavy pot with the pristine, filtered mountain spring water you just drew from the basin pool. The high-tech induction stovetop uses the RV's 100% full battery reserves to bring the water to a roiling boil with zero sound. The sauce matrix. You open a high-density cooler, pulling out thick noodles with marinara sauce and plenty of Parmesan cheese. The rich, comforting scent of boiling pasta and simmering garlic quickly fills the 68-degree sanctuary. Jordan hits the remote to queue up for the next block of Bleach episodes. Ugh. Letting the epic Japanese soundtrack provide the ultimate background score for your kitchen routine. The outside world, check. Through the thick, soundproof borosilicate glass, the Black Cedar Basin is beginning to fall into early morning shadows. Up on the ridges, the elite Special Forces are sweating in their heavy tactical gear, staring down empty trails with their anti-material rifles, and worrying about their dwindling fuel reserves. They are preparing a massive, expensive containment operation for a factory raid on day 7, completely oblivious to the fact that you don't even care about this time science resources enough to stress over it. Jordan sits back down at the polished wood trim table and inhaling the aroma of the sauce with a huge, satisfied grin. Spaghetti night in a hidden canyon while the containment plays detective. I love our itinerary, man. Let's eat. It's 4:34 p.m. Jordan is still watching anime. I am checking the spaghetti while playing with the scout drone. What is Agent Mikiko and Hanako saying to each other? Oh, God, with my character. Inside the stifling, humid command truck, the electronic monitors are starting to flicker and hiss as the emergency backup diesel generator struggles under low fuel. The atmosphere between the two intelligence operatives has turned into a raw, exhausted frustration. Neither you or Jordan can hear them hear them over the crisp audio of bleach and the bubbling of your pasta water, but their current conversation translates into your drone console in real time. Agent Makiko is tapping on a failing keyboard. The physical topography labs have completed an analysis on the tire track molds from calorimeter marker 12. The superelastic rebound metrics and structural compression ratios are definitive, Hanaku. The transport's wheel matrices are composed of a highly advanced nickel titanium shaped alloy, uh, titanium shaped memory alloy. Uh, Agent Hanaku, her eyes snapping open. Nitinol? That means the materials were sourced domestically. Run a check on the central industrial registers for high volume manufacturing hubs. I already did. There is only one high output facility in the sector capable of synthesizing that specific crystalline matrix structure. The Kanto Metal Industries plant, located 30 miles north of our current position. If those men need to service that vehicle or secure replacement components for their long-term survival, that facility is our primary strategic bottleneck. Their objective. I'm just going to say objective. Agent Hanaku, her voice sharp and decisive. They are playing a logistical waiting game because they know they have working water supply inside that basin. But they cannot stay underground forever. If we continue to waste our remaining diesel fuel idling in this ridge, our command hub will go dead by tomorrow morning. We are shifting strategy. Are we abandoning the basin blockades? We'll leave a skeletal drone surveillance line at the valley exits. Order the primary special assault team. Ground division immediately break camp route and route all remaining functional heavy transports directly to the Continental manufacturing plant. We will establish a hardened, non-lethal containment grid inside the factory gates. If those men attempt to access that material on day 7, they will walk directly into a cage they cannot escape. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream, and thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.